there.
Hi.
I'm Tish.
I'm Lily.
And together we are
Haunted Housewives.
And if you are anything like us right now, you are feeling it.
Uh-huh.
You are...
You're looking for all those fall videos.
Oh, you're on Instagram, you're on TikTok, you're scrolling through YouTube, you're looking for any little jolt
Yes.
of autumn happiness. You want to see leaves, you want to see pumpkin pies, you want to see
All the Halloween
skeletons
stuff, yeah.
and ghosts and Halloween stuff. We are here to tell you that you don't have to wait.
Right.
You don't have to wait until October for things to get better.
Yes.
Your mood can improve.
Yes, very much so. I mean, we don't have anything that's constantly open around here.
But we are advising you to seek out
Yes.
off-season haunts.
Yes.
And depending on where you live, there are plenty of options for off-season entertainment. One of the best options is to look for alternate holidays.
Yes. Our holiday haunts.
Which is why I'm
They are
wearing a furry hat indoors in the middle of March.
Because Christmas haunts are so fun.
Christmas haunts are amazing. I mean,
Yes.
this is... All right, I'm done. Does my hair look okay? Every year, I go on a rant, and she has to hear it, because there are Christmas haunts. There are seasonal December haunts, and every year somebody says, I don't get it. Why would you have a haunt in December?
Yes.
I don't understand that song that talks about scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmas is long. She's heard this so many times. I'm so sorry. I apologize. So Christmas is a perfect time for haunted attractions. Christmas is ideal.
I agree.
I mean,
Some people get visited by ghosts.
Right! Let's think about the single most popular
Right.
Christmas story adaptation, which is
Christmas
Christmas Carol.
Carol. I almost said story. That's a whole different...
That's a whole different thing. Though we have seen haunts that have used Christmas Story.
That's true.
If you think about it, there are plenty of traditions surrounding Christmas that deal with the uncanny, the creepy, the scary. The most prominent is probably A Christmas Carol, which is a ghost story.
Yeah.
It's a guy who gets visited by
3.
4.
Oh, 4. You will be...
Marley!
Oh, what God, tell him.
Jacob
You're going to be visited
Marley!
by 3 ghosts.
You will be
The
visited.
first ghost got to tell you that you're going to be visited by more ghosts.
You know, you may
is
lose a
super
trivia
creepy.
contest if you go with my answer, but I say there's 4 ghosts. It's about ghosts visiting somebody who deserves to be visited by ghosts, and there are moments in that story that are genuinely unsettling.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
supposed to be.
Yeah. The whole knocking on... Yeah.
Yeah. Chains.
Even like the narration to begin with.
Marley was dead. We've sat through so many productions of Christmas Carol. We could probably do all the parts if you really... You know what? We're going to set up...
Yeah, maybe we'll show you next Christmas.
We'll set up a donation. We'll do a two-woman version of A Christmas Carol with all the parts. But Christmas was... Before Christmas was Christmas, that season of the year, solstice, is the hinge of the year, and there is a notion that that is when the veil is thinnest. That's when things can get through. And if you like Gothic literature and ghost stories, if you've read a lot of M.R. James or Henry James, I don't know what it is about the James surname, but if you've read any of those stories, Turn of the Screw, you know that there is a tradition in England of telling ghost stories around Christmas. Because the idea is, that's the hinge of the year, and the door swings wide and things come through. So you have that, and I mean, even more recently, you have stuff like the Grinch. You have a monster associated with Christmas. Right. So Christmas is
a lot of ways
great time,
right,
for a haunted attraction.
I agree, and even making seemingly innocent, very Christmassy things creepy is very cool. We were just talking about in a lot of haunts at Christmas time, they make it snow. It became, I don't know who started it.
But
I know where we saw it first, but it doesn't mean that's who started it.
We've been to several.
And we've been to several at this point where they make it snow, and it is the coolest thing. I love it so much. We have the creepy vibe, and we have the cozy vibe, and the snow, and it's just amazing.
Highly recommend.
Yeah.
So, what about... This is a little bit of a gimme. Why should Valentine's Day be thought of as a creepy holiday?
Also, a lot of reasons. A lot of reasons for Valentine's Day to be creepy. There's also movies.
Yeah. My Bloody Valentine. Hard Eyes. I don't know that that's specifically Valentine's Day. It might be, but that just came out. The story of Saint Valentine has to do with violence to young couples. So maybe you haven't had such a great luck. So Valentine's Day does seem like the sort of holiday that should be associated with mayhem and murder.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Leprechauns. Again, there's a horror movie associated with this.
Yes.
And if you know anything about Irish folklore, which, you don't have to, but if you do, you know that there's a lot of dark, creepy stuff associated with Irish folklore. Leprechauns are barely scratching the surface. You have pukas and banshees and cluricans, red caps.
Oh my gosh.
There's so much stuff that lends itself to haunted attractions. And then, of course, there's halfway to
Halloween, Summerween. Yeah. There are many reasons to have a haunted house open when it's not Halloween.
Yeah. And we're encouraging you.
Yes.
If you're a haunt owner, do
please,
it. Please do it.
Please. We're always looking for places, and a lot of other people are too.
Yeah. And if you are a haunt enthusiast, go to some of these places and see what they have to offer, because they're different, they're exciting, and most places, scratch that. Every place, all places that do an off-season event do something to distinguish it from the regular haunt season events.
Yes, I would agree with that 100%. It's almost like how you may go to the same haunted house one Halloween season and then the next Halloween season, and it's different. That's how the seasonal ones are. Yeah. They have completely, they changed the decorations. A lot of the actors are different, and they're definitely different characters. There's a different storyline for each.
Yeah.
Obviously, but I even love just the decorations myself. I love seeing different things. Among the creepy things, there's tinsel and Christmas lights, and it just makes it so cool. Plus the
shamrocks and gold
coins, hearts.
Yeah. The haunted attractions go out of their way to make sure that the off-season haunt looks and feels different.
Yeah. Sometimes they do a whole different layout too. Yeah. A lot of the haunts we go to have different hallways they can close off and open up, or maybe it's not the full thing, because sometimes they do have a little bit of a smaller haunt for off season. I think just because they maybe don't have as many actors, or maybe it's just a lot of money to have run it and But
we understand
the layout is different.
it's an investment to
Yeah.
keep something open. But off-season haunts are going to look and feel different, maybe smell different, than the regular season haunt. Mm-hmm. And we want to talk a little bit about some of the experiences that we've had at different places and different approaches that places have taken. It's not an exhaustive list by any stretch of the imagination, but places do have different approaches.
Yes, they do. So the first time, actually it was longer ago than I thought, that we went to Akron for their Valentine's haunt. We were like, what is happening?
Wait a minute. How are the kids these days doing the... I can't do
I don't know if they're doing this. I think this is the old, right?
This is the old
and
one.
then this is... But then a lot of them just do this. And then I think
There's
there's even
like a thing.
another one, too. Yeah.
We're clearly not kids, but
No.
Akron's Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Akron Haunted Schoolhouse and Laboratory.
Yeah, so
In
we
Akron,
walk in
Ohio.
and it's a freaking, like, school dance. It is a party with the disco balls and the hearts, and they got, like, Valentine scary movies on the wall and posters, and it is a vibe. Like, it is songs from our era, like, really all the, like, Valentine heart songs you could think of.
We were making friends. We were making friends
Oh,
with
yeah.
people who remembered Lita Ford, and we're all singing along.
Went to a party last Saturday night.
See, this is
Who can name that song?
This is not what you're going to see in a typical Halloween haunt.
No.
But you will see if you go to the Akron Haunted
Yes.
Schoolhouse and Laboratory Valentine's Day, which they've really conceived of as a party the whole way through.
It was a party. Yes.
Everybody, the
Yes. As
monsters
you're
are
going
dancing.
through, you're dancing with the monsters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Maybe Jesus might show up. You never know.
Jesus showed up at Christmas because
I
it was
think we
his
had Jesus
birthday.
Oh, yeah, that's
It was
true.
his birthday.
That's true.
And
It
then we
was.
had somebody in
We
the
did party
vampire
with him
crypt
for his birthday.
ask if we had found Jesus. He owed him money. But they do a party, and every single room feels like a party. There's music pumping the whole way through the house. There's decorations that suggest that you're at a school dance somewhere in the 80s. Even though there are jump scares, and even though they have all of their very impressive animatronics still going, it's a party. The idea is to
So fun.
take you and place you in a high school gymnasium in 1989. That's where you are
Yes.
if you go there.
Yes.
And they have a similar feel to their other off-season haunts. Like we've been to their Christmas haunt, and again, it's fun and funny and silly, and I will say though, if you're going to the Akron Haunted Schoolhouse and Laboratory for any of their off-season stuff, be prepared for some adult content.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That's a thing.
It is a thing, and if you've been there during the regular season haunt, you know that. Spoiler alert: the bottom floor is hell. It's very literary. You're gonna go through like you're in Dante's Inferno. You're in an area where there's winds blowing and it's cold. During Valentine's Day, it's a dungeon. I'm not talking about the Edgar Allan Poe Pit and the Pendulum kind of dungeon. So just be prepared for that. If you want to have those discussions with your 10-year-old.
I know.
Who are we to judge? But they do a wonderful job of immersing you in not just a place, but a time.
Yes.
It's super fun. So what else have you got? We covered Valentine's Day at Akron Haunted Schoolhouse.
So another place that does a few different off-season haunts is Castle Blood. They do St. Patrick's Day
Because they're Celtic.
Just
It's the
went to-
macabre family.
They do a Summerween.
They do Summerween. They often do a Christmas no scare show where you can walk through and take pictures. They have a whole outdoor area that they have dubbed Ginger Dead Lane, with these horror-themed gingerbread
Yes.
cutouts that are
They're so cool.
They're super
Yeah.
cute and funny.
Yes.
And Castle Blood, because of who they are, they're magicians and actors and writers, and they take all of this very, very seriously. So they think about the mythology. And we just went to their St. Patrick's show, which incorporated figures from Irish folklore with their own sort of home-brewed mythology that they've all come up with. And this year, if you go to their haunts, there will be a through line. Every attraction will stand on its own, but there's going to be a connection between the characters you meet. In St. Patrick's Day, I think it was Sabrina, Deirdre of the Sorrows,
Yes,
and
Bridget.
Bridget. And I'm assuming you will meet them again if you go back for Summerween and Halloween and probably Christmas. And there, they I think they take the St. Patrick's stuff very, very
Yes.
seriously,
Well,
because
of course they do.
they're really into the Celtic stuff. They have one actress who works there who has this amazing Irish brogue. Like I swear they ship her in from some like fairy hill in Ireland specifically for these. But they decorate for St. Patrick's Day.
Yep. The story is revolving around whatever seasonal hunt it is. For St. Patrick's Day, it was around different mythology, and they also do a lot of magic. And I mean, for this season, I know it's definitely magic heavy. Sometimes it's more puzzle heavy. I think Halloween is probably more puzzle heavy than the off-season haunts. But there's always a new storyline. And a theme.
They do a lot of sleight of hand, very close-up magic, and it's really it's fun.
So
There's a lot
fun,
of
yes.
tricks, and you have to watch very carefully to see what's happening.
Doesn't matter. Still gonna be wrong.
You're still gonna be wrong because you're just a stupid mortal, and
Yes.
they're there to make fun of you.
Yes.
So watch out for their off-season events. They do a lot of really original, funny, highly interactive scripted stuff. What else?
And another place that they do a lot of off-season haunts is Haunted Hills Estate.
Yay.
They do they do Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day.
They will occasionally do
Christmas.
like a lights out. They'll do Christmas.
Yes, lights out. I don't even think we touched on the whole lights out thing yet.
We'll
think
get to
that's
lights out. Lights out is a
'cause
separate category, and
because it's always like the week after Halloween.
may
And
need its own video.
Sometimes it's summer, but like we'll talk about that later.
But Haunted Hills Estate will also do themed. They're just outside Uniontown. Sprawling farm area. There's 2 indoor attractions, and during the regular season there's a trail. They don't usually open the trail for the off-season events.
It's definitely too muddy down there.
But they will do themed events as well. I'm especially impressed with what they do with the Twisted Nightmares 3D.
Yeah.
They have an area that is 2 buildings that are essentially 3D art galleries. They had a famous artist come in and do these 3D murals. And
Very cool.
they've done a very good job of creating themes around those.
Yeah, and it's like,
shows
right. It's so funny how
services.
it's so able to change.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you see it the first time, you're like, how are they going to do anything else with this? Because it's one theme. But they do. Over and over again. It fits whatever theme that they want it to fit.
And they'll do, for St. Patrick's Day, they'll do little quests. They tend to be very interactive.
They're very, very interactive. I've never wanted to look for a coin so much in my life. Do you have it? Do you have it? You know, like the whole thing is different. You may have, you know, there's something to, you have the same building, but you still have different actors. It's still a different story. There's still different characters. Even like if you have the same actors, they're different characters. So you don't know. Like, it's not like we're talking to the actor, we're talking to the character. So they're completely different, and they do such a good job of that at Haunted Hills Estate.
And it's very quest oriented, and the house there is already very well decorated. They've created this atmosphere that's, you know, very dark and grimy. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's the Sawyer house. Every cobweb perfectly placed. But they've also done.
We've been through so much in the house.
Yes,
we'll get to Lights Out later.
Lights Out is a whole other thing, but they've really done a great job of transforming the 3D art gallery in Twisted Nightmares 3D into something that is more flexible than you would think it could be, with these gorgeous paintings as sort of the fixed backdrop. But yeah, they do specific themed events that are fun, interactive.
Yep.
Highly recommend.
Yeah.
Where else?
And different than the regular season.
Yeah.
So Demon House has a really, really evolved and cool Christmas haunt.
I remember the first time I think we went to their Christmas event, it was still haunt season. It was very early on in our review career, and we were behind people who were talking about how good the Demon House
was.
They were talking about how good the Demon House Christmas haunt was. And we looked at each other like,
there's Christmas. Yes.
And we did. And their approach is different than anyone else that we've described so far.
Yes.
How would you characterize what they do?
Evil Who's. Like, they have a whole, like, I know the first couple times, I want to say it maybe changed a little bit since it's grown. So it's a lot bigger now, and there's a lot more space now, and there's a lot more actors. But I know the first couple times we went, it was full of creepy Who's, and every Who had a job, and they were evil
down in Whoville.
They were
tall and the small.
Liked Christmas a lot.
Sorry.
we also know that show.
We
could do that too.
We'll set up a Patreon or something. You know, pay us. Yes. We'll do stupid stuff. Yeah, they do. One of the things that I think Demon House does really well is they tread this very fine line between cozy and creepy.
Yes.
They've done a haunted, a Christmas haunt that used characters from other Christmas, famous Christmas movies.
That make you feel cozy because it's Christmas. We're going to watch these Christmas shows.
And they just twisted them.
Yes.
A little bit or a lot. And Evil Who's is a perfect way of describing that because the makeup is great. I mean,
oh yeah.
The haunt runners are artists, and they're very good at creating the makeup for the Who's and for, you know, Evil Frosty and Vengeful Rudolph and Psychotic Elsa. Don't listen to that, Disney. It wasn't really Elsa. It was somebody else with like frostbite and, you know.
Yeah.
But they do something that is simultaneously like cute and fun.
Yes, because we're like, oh. I feel like we exactly did that. We're like, oh. Like, we're like, oh, like at first we're like, oh, it's so cute. Look. And like, oh.
Oh, no, it's
what
not.
What are you doing?
It's not cute. This is unsettling.
Creepy, yeah.
I'm going to have nightmares about this. And they occasionally do like a halfway to Halloween or summer event, but they put so much energy into making the Christmas haunt a Christmas haunt.
Yes.
And really thinking about how to take Christmas characters and Christmas settings and just snap them like a candy cane. Recommend that.
Yes.
I mean, we're months out from that, but if they do a Christmas haunt,
go.
You should go.
Definitely. This will take us into our other theme we wanted to talk about.
I mean, we should also mention there's a few other places that do these things. Infernum in Terra.
Oh, yeah.
Does a super fun Christmas haunt. They've done some other off-season stuff. Check out their page. They're in Wheeling, West Virginia. They have multiple floors in this old industrial building that they've turned into a hellmouth. But they do a super fun Christmas haunt. They've had there's always an appearance by Krampus or multiple Krampi. What is the plural of Krampus? I don't speak German.
I don't know. I'm thinking about Minty.
Minty the elf, who was singing just slightly
Christmas
horrifying
songs.
lyrics.
Christmas
slightly
songs.
horrifying lyrics.
With a twist.
Possessed toys.
Yeah.
Their Christmas haunted attraction is also really dark and really fun.
Yeah.
And they will take Christmas characters, elves, snowmen, toys, reindeer, Krampus, and throw them in a blender. and they don't just hit pulse. They're just like it's also fun and highly interactive and funny. Like they tell a lot of jokes. They're very
yes. They are very funny.
The regular season haunt can be very, very dark and intense. The Christmas version is dark but really funny. I would say that would be a great place to check out. Fair Columbus does an exceptional Christmas haunt that has extraordinary production values. It's one of the places that it snows inside.
Yep. They have a huge area where it snows. It's very cool.
Oh my gosh. And you will feel their soundtrack. You will feel it from the soles of your feet to the top of your
you
head.
feel things in your chest. That's how
oh
you
my
feel.
goodness. The first time we went through there, it was so...
we were like, what is happening?
It was so disorienting. And there are many other places that do off-season events.
And there's more that are coming. Like, I've seen a couple posts. I don't want to say anything because sometimes it ends up not happening, but I saw a couple people post that they're going to do some, summer ones that... I know. I'm super excited because I'm, thinking, maybe we can go to that.
Oh! Another place that does a summer thing. Duda's. Duda's Haunted Farm did a really fun Bloodfest last year as an intro to their new haunted hayride and their trail. We got lost in the corn maze, so
yeah. I try to forget the moments I've been lost in the cornfields, but that's the worst.
But they may do. I'm hoping they may do this again. Last summer awesome. They did a midsummer festival, where they had artists, they had food trucks, they had other haunt community members there, and they had their hayride up and running with the completely insane people who populate the hills and fields around Duda's.
What?
Shooting blood at you or bubbles or whatever else.
Was that summer?
I will show you pictures.
Like, I remember it.
They did it.
I remember the air cannon blew me over. I was like, what the hell just happened?
They did more in the fall, but they introduced it in the summer.
Yeah.
I have photographic evidence that we were there.
I don't know why I didn't realize I was... Oh! Because I had shorts on, and that was dumb of me. Yes, it was summer. I remember the hay poking my ass, and, like... So, just saying, if you go in the summer, maybe wear leggings or something like capris. I don't know.
And this is why we need to do an entire video on what to wear and what not to wear.
Oh my gosh,
to
totally.
a haunted attraction.
Totally.
We're going to do this at some point. But, check your favorite haunted attractions websites and see if they're doing any kind of off-season, because
yes,
it could be fun.
We should do like a
It will be
rules,
fun.
like a not rules, but like rules as in like what you should do as someone going to a haunt, and what you should know as someone running a haunt. Mm-hmm. Maybe put that together.
I like that.
Because don't put us with children. It's a whole thing. We get nervous. And
we will
like,
traumatize them.
we don't want to be put in a position where we're like, no, we don't want to go with them. No, so we usually just go, and then either they're traumatized or
we
like...
will traumatize your child, I promise you. Because we will have a reaction that you do not want your sensitive and vulnerable 6-year-old to see.
Yeah, that happens. Or like occasionally we've had things where like you do have... Which totally makes sense. I totally agree with like have the kid that's scared wear something and the actors like do a thing and make them comfortable, but don't put random people with them. Like we're like, oh, I'm so sorry, small Johnny, we don't know you, but like
unless you're at Freddy's.
Yeah, that doesn't happen though.
Which also does. Freddy's haunts, they do haunted attractions off season. They don't care.
They do haunted attractions.
They don't care.
No. And they also, and I think a lot of other haunts do this too. That's another thing that Freddy's does, is invite actors from other haunted attractions. So you may go we may go to Haunted Hills Estate and we may see actors from Fright Farm. You may go to Freddy's and you may see Fright Farm or Haunted Hills Estate or
Nightmare at
Stagecoach Hollow. So you might see actors that look familiar from other places. That's really cool. I love that. Like I love when we're going through and like that.
I know that
really familiar. They're not normally here. They're somewhere else, and it's really cool.
We should talk about the other kind of off-season haunted attractions since we got to Freddy's. Blackout events.
Yes. So Blackout, and that makes me think of Wells Township, because Wells Township Haunted House in Brilliant, Ohio. Brilliant. I love saying brilliant. Brilliant, Ohio. They have some off-season haunts. They have had St. Patrick's Day. They didn't this year, but in the past they have. They do like have
with
like
a bagpiper
in summer. Yes, I was thinking of that. We were somewhere and there's a bagpiper, and I thought of Wells Township.
They're insane.
And most of I think all of their off-season is lights out. And a lot of the haunts have a lights out. Mostly it's the weekend after Halloween. Mm-hmm. But sometimes throughout the summer, if they have an off-season haunt, it might be lights out. And people might be thinking, oh, I won't be able to see anything. It'll be less. That couldn't be further from the truth, honestly.
So it's
just different.
I will acknowledge. We're gonna acknowledge that there is a debate about blackouts and lights out. There are people who are like, oh, they're not as fun because you can't see the sets and you can't see the stuff and you can't see. Or you have an event that taps into this absolutely primal fear. Mm-hmm. At some point, we were all afraid of the dark. We were all scared about what was lurking in those shadows when you flipped that switch off. And
now you're in a freaking haunted house, and it's dark.
The first time we went to the Lights Out event at Wells Township, we were in a conga line. It was you, me, and 4 13-year-olds who were like who were holding on to the back of my jacket. And Wells Township is, pound for pound, one of the best technical places you're going to go, because they know how to use sound, they know how to use light. They're not like a Disneyland kind of place, but they know how to use the sound and the lighting and the timing.
And there's like a story in each room.
To just
like
induce
each room
dread.
Something happens.
And the first time we went through
dread
there,
to begin with, without even it being lights out.
the first time we went through there, they played a soundtrack that was just a heartbeat that got louder and louder and louder and louder as she got further into the house. Absolutely, like, dread-inducing, terrifying.
Yeah,
they do their
FYI,
lights out.
A lot of lights out will give you a glow stick. Most of the time, it's not really worth anything. I mean, I guess in some spaces, because it's really, really dark, even to see the wall, but someone's going to steal it. It doesn't matter where you are. Right. The actors know when you're coming, when you have a glow stick. I've definitely hidden it in the maze, because at Wells Township, you go through the haunt, and at the end there's a maze. Most of the time. Sometimes it's not open, but when it's open, and it's lights out, and you have a glow stick, I suggest hiding it, because they're coming for it. They're coming for you.
100 Acres Manor, which is... I mean, honestly...
That was probably one of the first lights out we went to.
100 Acres Manor is one of the 800-pound gorillas of Pittsburgh regional haunts. And they do a very good lights out, packed with actors. They use the space well. They use the darkness well. And they're they're really funny about the glow stick.
Yes.
I think they took Lily's glow stick from her and threw it.
Yes. That was like our first experience with that. Like we got to this room and there's a guy like checking people in, and he's like, "Let me see your glow stick." And because it was our first time, I was like, "Okay,
so
here."
So if it's your first time, kids, some guy says, "Show me your glow stick."
Yeah, don't. Yeah, he literally was like, "Thank you," and threw it into a dark room, and we were like, "What the hell?" What the hell?
It was terrible. It was so bad. So, lights out events you're typically in smaller groups, because you just have this one little glow stick. They want to keep it kind of intimate. You don't get to see the sets in the same detail that you would see them during a regular season event, but you get the trade-off of the intensity of the darkness and the sound.
And you can even see where you're going.
Yeah.
Like imagine just like walking through the dark, even in your own house, let alone somewhere that you're not that familiar with. You don't know where you're stepping. You don't know what's around you. They're so creepy.
Oh my gosh. I was just thinking about Chippewa Lake Slaughterhouse does a lights out event. Most places, as Lily was saying, that do lights out events will do them the week after Halloween, the week after regular season, as a sort of, here's a bonus for the real freaks who want to come out and see this.
Yes.
And Chippewa Lake it's in this old meat packing plant. And if you go there during the regular season, it's gorgeous. It's incredibly realistic. It has nothing in the sets that wouldn't have been in an actual meat packing plant, except maybe for the undead cultists who've taken over the plant. But when you're walking through these huge industrial spaces with like chains dangling from the ceiling and distorted announcements coming over the loudspeaker system, and all you have is this tiny little glow stick and you're clutching it, it's really unsettling. So we've been to Chippewa Lake, we've been to Haunted Hills Estate, which does a different thing.
Yeah. That's where I was going with, because I was thinking
so
there are also some lights out events that signify it is more intense, and you may not know that. Like Haunted Hills Estate did advertise it when they have their lights out event, and it's going to be more intense and it's going to be a touch haunt. They will tell you, but not all places do. There are definitely other places that do this kind of thing. They'll say lights out, but it also means the actors will touch you. It is a more intense, more interactive story. It's more one-on-one. You're doing things. Haunted Hills Estate has had some of the best lights out. We were literally, when they had a dollhouse in the one buildings, and they didn't tell you that you had to find your way out. So what you did is you kept going around to the different rooms and you kept interacting with the actors.
Lily and then I went through like 4 times.
We were like, oh shit, we have to find the door. No one's going to show us the door. And the house was, they've done a couple of them where it's like, there's some sort of puzzle you have to solve. You have to find your word to get out the door, or you have to find some other things. I don't know. You have to do all kinds of challenges. You could go wherever you wanted in the house. We look at it like, oh my God, it was so much, but it was so fun. It's literally being in a horror movie.
Yeah, if you want to feel like you're in a horror movie, if you want your final girl experience, something like that is as close as you're going to get. And if there is a local haunt here or wherever you are that has a blackout, lights out event, check it out.
Yes, definitely.
They're worth it. They're worth like the adventure.
Yes. Yep. And while I wish they were open all year long, I'm glad there are seasonal haunts, the lights out, any of the holidays, anything really. If you're having a haunt and they're advertising, we're going to go if we can. Because, yes, we are so happy that there's something while we wait for Halloween.
Yeah, we just had, the past week, we went to St. Patrick's at Castle Blood. We went to Haunted Hills Estate.
And we went to Freddy's.
And we went to Freddy's.
That was insane. That was insane.
Because Freddy's... Did we even talk about
I don't think we talked about Freddy's.
I'm so sorry, Freddy's Haunts. I apologize. Zips and Company apologize. So
we just blocked it from our mind. What happened?
Sometimes the way we gauge how effective a haunt is by like how disoriented we are after
Not a
we
lie.
leave. Like, are we on the road home going...
What just
How
happened?
did we get here? Or why are we at the exit? What are we doing? So Freddy's Haunts advertises themselves as an indoor trail. What does that mean? It means somebody built this giant building that looks like a cave system.
Yeah.
And they do regular lights out, blackout events throughout the year, again, with a bunch of guest actors from different haunts in the area. And if you think it's nasty trying to navigate your way through a cave with the lights on,
try a challenge for you.
Try it with a glow stick.
Yes.
It's super fun. It is...
So... creepy,
extremely disorienting. I find like when I'm there, like my sense of time.
Yes, I feel like I've been there forever. Are we ever getting out? Well, the end is a maze. Not really the end. Almost the end is a maze.
There's a maze, and then you realize there's more haunted attractions after the maze.
Right.
We went through with some friends of ours who are haunt actors at different haunts. And they had not been through the Freddy's blackout event before, and we got out of the maze, and one of the guys was cheering, and I said, "Oh, wait, there's more."
But wait,
we still have a bunch of stuff to get through before we taste the sweet air of freedom again. Freddy's is very, very disorienting, and very dark.
Yes. If you want to stumble through a tunnel in the dark, that's for you.
No glow stick.
The little glow stick that they're probably going to take. They try to take.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. But keep an eye open. If you are a haunt enthusiast, there's stuff out there, and if you're a haunt owner, we know it's hard. We know it costs a lot, but we love the off-season haunts, and there is really no reason that haunted attractions should be confined to just 1 to 2 months of the year.
Exactly.
Halloween is a
in your mind.
frame of mind. Yeah.
We didn't.
And everybody watching this is like, "Oh, really? You didn't plan? Really?
I know. Okay.
Surprise us." But anyway, we will be back in a couple of weeks with more discussion of haunt-related stuff.
Haunt-related items.
Or it could be a movie discussion. We've been
horror movieing.
Mm-hmm. We've been horror movieing, and we have big thoughts.
Yes.
But anyway, thank you for tuning in.
Thanks.
We will be back, and
See you next time.
see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.